From a little tent in the village of Karapur-Sarvan in the Mai constituency in Bicholi, the people, especially the women of Karapur, have braved the sun, braved the rain, braved big bats, braved pressure to fight against what is come out to be one of the most draconian projects that have hurt village life in Goa. The Abhinandan Lodha project in the village of Karapur. As far as in Goa is concerned, we've been to Karapur at least 2 or 3 times, been with the villagers and traced their journey from the village and right up to Azad Maidan a couple of times where they came here to protest. Today is the 100th day of their protest. They sat down in their village to fight against a project which would ultimately, they say, destroy village life, destroy water systems, destroy their very existence, destroy their access to traditional lands which they grazed in, and more importantly, it would completely destroy water tables because this Abhinandan Lodha project, consisting over 749 apartments and other villas, has become one of the biggest bones of contention of the people versus power struggle that Goa has witnessed. As we have spoken throughout the last 2 months, it was a land sold by the company of the TCP Minister Vishwajit Rane to a company owned by the Lodhas to carry out this particular project. On one hand, there are other Ranes, branches of Vishwajit Rane's family, who are fighting this because they feel that the land itself, the 2 parcels of land itself that were combined and sold to the Lodhas, belonged also to them and not only to Vishwajit Rane's family. That was one. So that challenge is going on in the courts. And the second challenge, and a very, very important challenge that is being spearheaded by the locals, is this major case on why an environmental impact assessment and an environment clearance has not been sought for a project that exceeds 5 lakh square meters. And that is where another challenge is. As we stand here today at Azad Maidan, many of the major activists, the leadership, some of the political leadership, they have gone to Delhi, to Jantar Mantar, to see that their voices and their struggle is reflected and expanded from the little village of Karapur right up to Jantar Mantar in Delhi. Not to Azad Maidan, but to Jantar Mantar in Delhi. But while that is happening, there are other people now, there are other activists who are gathered here, there are people all over here, and there are people, there are a massive crowd of elders, there are senior citizens, there are people who've gathered here, and all of them are here to give support to that 100th day of the Karapur-Sarvan agitation. And one can see most of the people here. We will also have a conversation with some people here. I can see Patricia here, I can see Sabina here, and all of them are here. I will just wait for this conversation to happen, and then we'll speak to all of them. I can see Avartin here as well, and everybody here. So Avartin, let's start with you. Just give me a sense of what you're feeling right now.
Right now, people are still coming in. I hope we get more numbers because ultimately it's numbers matter.
And
People's participation.
And what do you have to say about the 100th day of this protest, and the fact that many of the women who've been struggling and protesting there, they have gone by trains to Delhi to take the struggle right up to the doors of power in Jantar Mantar, while there are others who have come here and shown solidarity. What does this speak of the overall strength of Goa?
See, ultimately the strength will matter when people come out in large numbers. Because otherwise the government attitude will be indifferent.
Right.
So people's participation in any protest is important. If the 1,000 taxi drivers can hold the government to ransom,
Why can't do that?
Yeah.
Right.
Even 0.5% of the people, population of Goa comes out in the streets. It shows the concern.
Right.
The rapid destruction of Goa calls for a rapid action.
Right.
But right now, I don't know, I'm very puzzled why people are not coming out in large numbers. We need those. But nevertheless, this is a good number to
Correct.
start. And
Yeah,
I hope,
while there is strength in numbers, I reckon there's strength in the spirit of the people as well. So
yes,
that's
that's all matters.
Yes.
That's also a very
Right.
important spirit. Where
Right.
there is a spirit,
Right.
camaraderie is there, and we hope we succeed. Because
Thank
there
you.
are powerful interests here. Remember that this issue has powerful vested interests who are bent upon promoting such destructive mega projects, and we are bent upon opposing.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. And it's been about say 100 days, and what is interesting is that people from other parts, from other areas, people involved in other agitations are also coming forward. See, for instance, you were spearheading the agitation in Chimbel against the Unity Mall. What does this speak of the combined unity of Goans across who are facing similar issues and coming together? Does this happen enough? Do we need more of this?
Actually, we need each and every member of the family to be on ground because Goa is finished. I would appeal through you to all the people of Goa to come in large number and attend this meeting. And in solidarity with this Karapur, 100 days they are on hunger strike is not a joke. Because we know because of Unity Mall how much we suffer. And looking at their sorrowfuls with children, small children, I feel very bad and I really get tears into my eyes seeing their love for their village. So I would really request them to please support them individually and just give them a moral support. What they need now is the moral support.
Right, right. Thank you. So, Anthony, one thing that I'm witnessing is that people who've been fighting their own causes in their own local areas have also come here in support of Karapur. Do you feel a more of these things should happen? That people, and not just activists, people from all walks of life should gather for events like this, especially with regard to Karapur, because that has become a flagship protest of people, where mainly women have sat for 100 odd days against the Lodha project. So, what is the sense of uh, either achievement or satisfaction that you're getting today?
First of all, CJ Bab, Dev Bari Karu Tuka. Thank you very much. Because the way what you're saying, absolutely the whole of Goa agrees to it. It is like till today I'm not able to understand ki how come Goa is not getting united as one till today. There are protests emerging from every nook and corner of Goa. But sometimes it looks like who will bail the cat. Depending upon season to season, we find that there are some leaders who take it up, and every time I hope that this leader will be able to bring the whole of Goa together. It happens. And now, recent Munda there, enough is enough through Firdin Bab. But all these pockets, protests which happen, maybe 200, 300 data. Recently, maybe somewhere in Sangye, and then there is in Benauli. But overall, total, that coming together seems to not.
Are you also suggesting or recommending like a all Goa movement? Because at the end of the day, the struggles are the same.
Yes.
The biggest struggle is under 39A. There are other struggles of conversions of land, or about paddy fields, about destruction of hills, and so on and so forth. Of course, there are economic reasons, there are infrastructure reasons, there's corruption. But the basic loss of identity seems to be linked mainly to land and allied issues. And most of the people across Goa are fighting for the same issues. Do you call, or are you suggesting that all activists plus all people who are fighting for this come together under one banner, under one platform, and there should be a series of democratic lines of protest for this?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to get the whole concept here. Everybody's issues are almost the same. But the thing is that we are not coming together as one. So that impact on the government,
Right.
whichever the government is,
Right.
that impact is not seen because
Right.
when a big protest is being called,
Right.
we are a divided lot. Even today, let me take it with a pinch of salt.
Right.
So imagine the protests that are going on all over Goa. Everywhere there are protests.
Right.
But when we call for one single
Right.
headed protest, very difficult to see one
Right.
big protest with all the people of Goa coming together. I'm saying no, Sujay Bab,
Huh.
if we can have a protest
Yes.
with minimum
Right.
5,000-6,000 people
Right.
at one point of time,
Right.
once in a year,
Right.
that will send a proper signal to the government.
Done.
But then this is what we are, looks like it is divided. Today also the protest was called for all Goa level.
Right.
Maybe through the Karapur movement or through enough is enough movement.
Right.
But that it is not satisfactory.
Okay, I'll come back to you.
Yeah. Thank
Azad Maidan today may not be completely packed. There are still people coming in. And one must understand that a large number of protesters are also in Delhi, in Jantar Mantar, to take this fight forward. What exactly are they fighting for? They are essentially fighting for the Lodha project to move out of Karapur-Sarvan, to be scrapped, because they feel that not only feel, they are convinced that the project has not cleared the basic test of environmental clearance. Secondly, they are questioning on what basis was such a big project cleared by various authorities, which will have such a severe impact on the water table, the streams, access to traditional lands, and a lot of these other issues. And they are also extremely upset because the government seems to think that this vote bank is not strong enough to either disturb them or to even budge them from their political position. Of course, political parties, opposition political parties are showing solidarity. The Congress is here, the AAP is here, their leaders have come in along with their supporters, as would be expected during an election year. But what is most important is that the proof of the pudding lies in the ability of the opposition to ensure that not just Section 39A of the TCP, which is just one of the acts on which large amounts of land is being converted, but a larger picture is often forgotten. And the larger picture is policy planning and grassroots bottom up planning. The larger picture is why the regional plan 2021 should not be scrapped completely and a new planning process starts. The broader picture is to see that all the conversions that have happened, which are anti people and pro vested interests, should be put on complete hold. And if the government needs to fight cases, let them do so, and scrap all conversions that have happened under 39A. Put a stop to all of this and start planning afresh, which is bottom up. That is the only way to save villages that have already been destroyed because of these draconian planning. And if these projects that are cleared are allowed to be executed, then Goa will never see its old ways once again. It will never see peace of village life once again. They will never see development in the truest sense once again. So this fight is against changing the very element of Goa, the very essence of Goa. And that is the bigger fight. Restricting it only to 39A is not good enough. And restricting this entire protest against the Lodha only to a 39A clause is not good enough. Because now my first question is, this whole fight against the Lodha project seems to be concentrated around 39A, though we know there's a broader picture. But why do you feel 39A has become such an important facet of this?
One of the permissions is under 39A. Four of the permissions are under section 17.2. They are all related to the access to the site, because the original access in the regional plan, provisional roads were through both the survey numbers which constitute the Lodha project. They got
176 and 138 by 1.
and 148.
148 by 1, yes.
They got those roads deleted, provisional roads deleted, and created a new road by acquiring slivers of property through 3 property lands, changing them under 17.2. Now 17.2, the High Court has already removed all the rules. 17.2 has been read down, so 17.2 no longer stands. But what we discovered very recently, when the villagers filed a petition asking for access to their tenanted fields which are inside the Lodha property, the court asked the Lodha, the council, why have you closed their accesses? They said they are open, and the court said go and check them that they are open. The villagers went in, and from that we have found that they have received permissions after the Supreme Court has directed status quo on all projects associated with Section 17(2). High Court, when the matter came up later, said that all projects which are involving Section 17(2), Supreme Court has directed a status quo. We are adjourning all these petitions sine die. So all projects should be stopped. But Lodha is constructing 2 buildings inside the project. So we have filed an application for status quo of the construction work and status quo on the permissions, and no permissions to be given further by town planning department for this project.
Just for our viewers, just a quick recap. How many conversions have they done under 17.2?
4.
And which includes the access road?
Yes.
I see.
Or see the main area, say, the two survey numbers, they are already settlement areas.
That's right.
But the roads were going through them. 2
Correct.
roads were going through
Correct.
them. That would bifurcate their property.
Yes, I've seen
and
those.
avoid.
Yeah, I've been and seen. Yes.
So the road, the deletion of the road under the regional plan and creation of a new access is very, very crucial to the project.
What category was the road in the RP 2021?
Proposed road.
No, the proposed road. And they have not used that road.
They did not construct the report, but that does not mean that the people did not have access. They used to travel on foot across
Correct.
from one area to the other.
And the
area.
property is in that particular sub-proposed road.
It is through. The roads
Yes.
are going, 2 roads going completely through the property. They would not have been created, able to have this one Goa project which they wanted. And the last one is 39A, but 3 or 4 of them are Section 17(2).
Correct.
So they should not be doing any work on the project. We have therefore filed saying that Supreme Court has directed status quo. High Court has put the matter for next week. I am waiting for the report.
Yeah. Thank you. Francis, I have one specific question in the backdrop of the 100 days of protests in Karapur-Sarvan. One, there seems to be a bit of a disappointment with regard to the crowd. Maybe we expected more, maybe there are people there. What can one do to ensure that everybody from all across Goa come on public platforms not only for this protest but for everything else that is happening to give strength? Otherwise, don't you feel that people are fighting in pockets?
Yeah, definitely people are fighting in their own silos in different pockets, and we the younger generation who's part of Justice Rebellos Enough is Enough movement, we are striving to bring these silos together, which is something that we are working on. Now the problem lies with, for example, the Karapur guys. They are fighting about that Lodha and that thing. But when you ask them to fight about something that does not relate to them, like for example the Chimbel mall that was coming up, they don't, they're not driven. It doesn't come from within. So they'll come once, so they'll come twice. But we are trying to tell everybody that it's not about just that one project that you're fighting about and one project that he's fighting and she's fighting about. It's about collectively this is happening all over Goa. So we are working on that, and hopefully we'll we'll see this. Also, another thing is mobilization without involving stalwart politicians. Mobilization is a very, very difficult thing.
But then if you have stalwart politicians, then the credit gets taken by the politicians.
Yeah, see, the whole idea is we are fighting.
Right.
People like me, I'm a politician, I'm a new age politician. I'm fighting to ensure that these old age politicians get thrown out. I say that we will also want to get thrown out in 10 years' time. But the thing that will save Goa is the new crop of politicians that come. Now, the new crop of people like us, we are fighting to mobilize people on our own. If we go to lean on them to mobilize, like for example, Viresh is here now. But Viresh can't mobilize the way, like say, Digambar Kamat could, for example, right? So that's where the fight lies. We don't want to involve the age-old politician because we want to keep them away from the politics of Goa because they've destroyed Goa. So that's why mobilization is this. It's trying to.
Right.
That's the main thing.
Also, do you feel that ultimately there will be a ray of hope, and this will be translated into a regime change? Do you think people can actually do that?
I definitely feel this year it is, because although people might not be coming out, the kind of response that we get, I'll go to a restaurant and be having a meal with my father and mother, and people will walk up to us and say we're sorry we cannot come out. yesterday, this was yesterday, we were having a meal out with my folks, and neighboring table came to me and said, we run a small business, we can't really come out and speak against the government, but we are waiting for the elections to show what is this. We have been supporting the BJP and we are BJP voters, and this is happening at restaurants. So that tells me that there is a sea of change that is underlying and waiting to come out.
Thank you, friends. Okay. The sun is fading, but the hopes of the people are not. They come up consistently, they turn up, they protest, and it's not about the numbers, but about the spirit in those numbers. And as people have spoken, there are different people fighting at various levels. The locals are fighting in the village, and now they've gone to Delhi. The activists are spreading the voice all over through YouTube videos and speeches and mobilizing people. The lawyers like Norma Alvarez and even others, Abhijit Prabhudesai for instance also, and many others, are doing their own thing with regard to digging up the papers, filing RTI applications, filing relevant cases. And these are important things that we need to look into. So everybody in their own way, in a manner that they deem fit, are all contributing, and these are not drops in the ocean. These will add up to a huge force, and a people's movement will ultimately see victory of the people, and that is the cry that is coming out from here, and that is the hope that is coming out from here. This is not political led. It is not about politicians. It's not about people who turn up because elections are around the corner. It's about the people who show up every day and who've shown up every day for the past 100 days and are continuing to do so, braving the rain, braving the heat, braving everything else, including discomfort in the families, to do this. And as we kind of observe this day, let us also salute each of those warriors, especially the women of Karapur, who I've had the supreme honor and privilege to spend time to get their audience and to understand that their fight is beyond their own homes. It's a fight for Goa that is resonating and echoing all over this beautiful land of ours. With video journalist John De Silva, this is Shujoy Gupta for Ink Goa.